It's the 1980s. Derry and her people have already been through years of hardship, trying to persevere through conflict, tragedy, and neglect. The chaotic events of the 1960s and 70s have put the city under enormous strain, with areas like the Bogside and surrounding communities continuing to struggle with the social and economic effects of the Troubles on a daily basis. There is little to no work. Money is scarce, and many people are losing hope. But Derry is a matriarchal society, full of strong women, and one of those is a local teacher and Bogside resident, Mary Nillis. She can see what is happening before her eyes, and so she, along with support from others, sets out to do something about it, creating a sanctuary in an unused building for a community in dire need of it.
So I can't remember now to this day how I knew about Dove House. It used to be an old people's home. It was abandoned because of the war and the Bogside. They had moved the old people to William Street, but it was lying empty. And they said, well, we'll go and do it. So we did. It just wouldn't, I think, one day on the I can't remember now. We'd no money and we'd no heating and we'd no nothing, no phone. No. Me and Frank, and we were scrubbing floors, cleaning windows and doing the other things that you do to make a house habitable.
So she had talked them into breaking in, and then they were cleaning the place up, getting it ready. So I said, what's going on? And Mary says, we've occupied this in the name of the community. We're going to turn it into a community centre. And I says, that's not a bad idea.
When a letter arrived on the door of the housing executive telling us to get out, this was their property. I didn't know whose property it was at that stage. And I never even bothered answering. I think I rang them up and told them, no, we're not going. We're staying.
Initially, when I was involved in Dove House, it was very much, and still is, a grassroots community project that was about the people of this area coming together and working on things that mattered to them and making a difference.
That was needed, I suppose, for an outlet, for a sanctuary, for a place where people could have felt safe. Because the community, while strong and resilient and stood up and resisted, there was still always a sense of foreboding. There was a sense in these communities at that time of danger. And places like Dove House served that.
If it wasn't for and to support the people outside these doors, the people out there in the community and the surrounding communities, it wouldn't happen if Mary Nillis didn't identify it as a recognised need, that a facility was needed, particularly during a difficult time in the city.
This wasn't just about improving the circumstances of people's lives by making better choices or providing one-to-one services, which it did quite well, but it was challenging a lot of the circumstances, the structures that were creating, issues around poverty, deprivation, lack of childcare, opportunities for training and development in the community, and that radical approach that Dove House has taken has always been evident through a lot of its projects.
Many of Dove House's projects have been rightly perceived as radical and ahead of their time. For the past 40 years, it has provided many of these projects throughout the communities of the Bogside and Brandywell, through the work of their many members of staff and volunteers. That work continues to this very day.
So here at Dove House we have 15 members of staff and 5 volunteers, with a board of directors who are all voluntary, who meet on a regular basis and oversee the project. Within the advice services now we have 8 members of staff who all work very diligently on welfare and benefit advice. So over the last 2 years since I've been manager, we have seen over 5,600 people, and we've brought 8.2 million into the local community. So that's a staggering amount for 8 members of staff.
From as far back as when Dove House began in 1984, people of the area have faced a wide variety of social issues, including high unemployment rates. One of the services Dove House spearheaded was help and advice around navigating our benefit system, a service which is still in high demand at present.
My name is Peter Anderson. I started in Dove House as a welfare rights advisor, and I've now progressed to an appeals tribunal representative. That is basically people who are on benefits and have been turned down, and then they wish to appeal that, and then they'll come to Dove House and I begin all the paperwork. I do get great satisfaction from doing this tribunal work, and as I say, it brings a lot of money back into the community.
Over the years, Dove House has become a central hub within the Bogside and Brandywell area, almost like a home for everyone who comes through its doors. And like any good home, it was the birthplace of many other ideas. Many institutions across the city had their roots in Dove House. The Gas Yard, Culturland, the Nerve Centre, but to name a few.
The social infrastructure, meaning a lot of the infrastructure in this community emanated or began here in Dove House and even further afield. Gas Yard, Wallfeila, Gas Yard, Craig and Country Park, Conroe na Gaeilge was based here way back in the day, which is now the Culturland.
I says, I have an Irish language project, needs a few rooms. So she says, I'll rent you a couple of rooms. I says, so you're after breaking out and you're going to rent me. So we moved into 2 rooms in Dove House, and that's where Conroe na Gaeilge started.
I mean, a lot of the sort of very successful community development and community infrastructure started in this very building.
Dove House was a sort of a launch pad for all these things, but before you get buildings and you get funding, capital funding and things like that, you need somewhere to sort of operate out of.
Like so many others, Martin was inspired by his time at Dove House to start his own project. With their help, this led to the creation of the Nerve Centre, which has served as a creative space for people across the city for many years now.
I suppose seeing a facility that's not used and you want to, put something back into the community and something like that was very, very badly needed. There was such a crumbling infrastructure in the area at the time, and the fact that people had ideas for things that would benefit, whether it's young people or in our kind of case across the city. I was kind of very aware of the need for somewhere where people could congregate and collectively work together, and try and change the place, try and transform it somewhere or other. And once you have somewhere to work from, somewhere secure, and somewhere to reportedly turn up to every Monday morning and get cracking, I think the difference that makes is incredible.
One group in particular that Dove House was able to provide a lot of resources to within its 40 years were the women of the local area. Women like Roisin Barton led the way, providing inspiration and hope for women and their families within and beyond the Bogside and Brandywell.
It wasn't that they didn't have any ambition, but they just couldn't see that there was anything out there for them. And they just thought education was a waste of time. And at that time, people weren't too keen on girls being educated either. That was a waste of time because they were going to get married and have children. So, the work that Dove House did and to this day still does is unbelievable for this area, because, it helps with so many issues, but it also tries to encourage people to do things for themselves, and I think that's the most important thing that can be done.
We live in a city that is known as being matriarchal, and Dove House, the heartbeat, in my opinion, of that city, saw some very strong women come through the doors. Very strong women who took the lead, who opened the door. Mary Nillis and Roisin Barton are the 2 people that spring straight to mind, because that's the people that I can appreciate from my personal point of view. I saw them as great leaders, great mentors. They instilled self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. They reminded us as women that it wasn't just about putting food on the table and looking after children and doing the dutiful. You too can have your skills. You too can have a career. You too can change how your community is and how women are treated within your community.
I suppose when I think about the role of women in the community sector, but also in life generally, and all the issues we face around misogyny, it was very clearly understood as being an activator for the entire community, that women needed to be involved at every level, and in particular in leadership levels. I mean, again, Dove House was in the very blessed position of having people like Mary Neillis, Roisin Burton, who were to the fore and leading that, not just in Dove House, but every day of their lives.
We would have ran education projects to, encourage women who had a very, negative experience at school to come back into learning.
She also would have helped if somebody came in and there was a work had to be done. She would have been the person to say, right, organise this X, Y, Z with it. And it would have never cost Roisin a thought. Her life and soul was here, and she has guided a lot of people, especially a lot of people that have came through Dove House, in building the community.
But Roisin Burton knocked at my door. I know now that I had postnatal depression at that time. Roisin didn't come to my door and offer therapeutic services or counselling or emotional support directly. What she did was knock at the door and say, Maureen, as part of the residents, we're looking to look at what is available for women's health in the area. We were wondering, would you come in and talk to us and help us do a survey?
So myself and a couple of the other women from the women's group, we would have been out in the morning and round the houses and saying, right, come on, are you coming over? Not to force them over, but just to give them a bit of encouragement. We need yous rather than you needing us, so it I have to say it did work, it did work.
But that was the avenue through which Roisin Burton got me in the Dove House and made me feel that my input as a local resident was really valued, that the work that needed to be done I could be part of, and I could help change and shape not only my future, but the future of the area that we lived in.
Roisin's legacy and the legacy of the women's group lives on throughout Dove House and continues to this day. Eileen Allen, the daughter of Paddy Bogside, currently holds the position of chairperson of Dove House. She is their public representative, a local resident who oversees project delivery and staff development on a voluntary basis. Eileen has an incredible passion for the area and cares deeply about every project, notably the women's group.
The women's group that are here now, they come and they can talk about the problems, which is carried on a lot from when Roisin was here. They talk about their problems, or Mrs. So-and-so down the street needs help or whatever. And they take that back into their own streets, into their own communities and into their own homes.
I was in the women's group years ago as well with my late sister. And this women's group was set up again by Jane 2 days before her death. And it was her who told me to come here. You just felt that you were coming back and where you belonged, and you should have been coming here and just meeting people again, just chatting. I didn't realise how much I missed not being here. So to me it's great. It keeps us all together, and we all help one another out and help one another through whatever we're going through at that time,
I've only started in the last 17 months or so, since my husband passed away. It was a friend of mine asked me to come, and then I came here then and met all these things, and I couldn't have picked a better friendship, and the group's absolutely amazing. Like, it actually helps us together.
It does.
We talk about our problems, we laugh, we cry, we
That's
get
right.
nights away, we do everything.
You might cry a bit, but then the group's there to pick you up again, and you're laughing before you go out, That's what it's about.
From this project and others over the years, many different women's needs from within the community have come to the forefront of discussion. Action has been taken to address these issues brought forward by these women.
Dove House knew that the biggest barrier to women being able to be involved in their communities was around a lack of childcare and affordable childcare and high quality. And actually one of the first kind of community creches was run out of Dove House in a very small space downstairs that you would never get registered now. But again, that doesn't stop people from saying, Childcare's the issue. Let's create a solution. Let's allow women to get back into training skills, or just allow them to organise together. You know, it doesn't have to be about the start, middle and end of something. There's lots of research done around the issues and the barriers that women were facing, and I suppose that was used then to fund a very successful Sure Start project that I've been privileged to work on for 20 years, along with many others. Some of those Dove House staff that were working on that creche at the time, they're still with the Sure Start project. And again, it's not an exaggeration to say all of that and much, much more came from Dove House.
Since the beginning, Dove House has had countless great members of staff and volunteers who have worked diligently for the needs of the people who have come through their doors day after day for the last 40 years. Out of all the staff, one name stands out in particular. The impact and legacy of the late Donncha McNillis, the son of Mary Nillis, is still felt and widely acknowledged throughout the local area.
I think one of the nicest memories that I have is of Donncha McNillis in the early days when I joined the team. He used to greet us every morning, mois and moi. He was very much a great manager, and it's something that I have learned from him, that it's very much about the people. And I think one of the nice memories is coming in the cold mornings when Donncha was always there first thing, greeting us all. And that's something I like to be in before the staff members, to greet them coming in the mornings.
I didn't say very much, but what I did say was often cut to the chase of the previous 45-minute discussion. He could sum it up in a few words. You can't really look at Dove House without looking at his impact on it and the projects and programmes that came out of it.
I initially started in Dove House in 1988, and I was down to Donncha. Donncha was able to explain to me that there was a job coming, and I've got to be honest with you, Donncha helped me, and I'm still doing it since. I'm even past retirement age now, but I love my job. I'm down now working 3 days a week, but it's down to that man whose photograph is just opposite me here, who helped me and mentored me. Not just me, but lots of people as well.
Donncha was a team player, and along with other members of staff, notably Roisin Barton, they strive to help and guide all those who cross their path.
We're in a better place, and it is down to people like Donncha and Roisin, and their, I suppose, foresight and understanding that the people in these communities deserved the same services and the same, I suppose, respect that all communities deserve. Two of the most inspirational people that has ever served and that has ever worked or lived in this community. And they're two people that I genuinely would say that you can look up to every day. And they're two people that inspire the work that we do going forward. If you get advice from either Donncha or Roisin, 99 times out of 100, it was the right advice.
Although Dove House has continued to expand and grow, its facilities have stayed the same, and the need for a new site has become apparent over the years, leading to the development of Meenan Square in the heart of the Bogside. This proposed new complex will rejuvenate the area and be something that local residents can take pride in, hopefully prolonging Dove House's essential work in the community.
Looking forward to the redevelopment of Meenan Square, the place around Dove House, all that whole area there, and what could happen there. You know, great community projects. People just have to put forward their ideas, what they've in their head and what they want, you know.
I mean, Meenan Square, anybody that of an age would remember what it was. That was the heart of this community. I mean, that was a series of shops and houses and flats. Everything was on that site that served this community and wider. Unfortunately, the world has changed and retail has changed, and over that period, you know, that site had run into disrepair and into dereliction.
In 2017, the Féile conducted a mass survey of the Brandywell and Bogside area. They opened the discussion up to the people who live there and asked what their thoughts and feelings were in regards to the site on Meenan Square and what they would like to see within its redevelopment.
I work in the town, and every time I'm walking down Fawn Street coming home from work, I just look over the bog area, my heart drops.
That's an eyesore of the building now, and it'll be great to get it up and running, even for local businesses. Clean up the area, take it away from what it is, because it's a major distraction in the area.
I would like to see a community centre, and a community centre for everybody in the community from up to 80 years of age, and I'm thinking kind of like share start kind of activities for the children. I'd also like to see something for older people, kind of senior citizens, where they can go down and kind of have like maybe tea, coffee, or do a bit of knitting or sewing or whatever they want to do.
Something for the young ones, a youth area, something major, something decent for them.
Even expanding the youth club. My own daughter's come through the youth club. She really benefited from it.
I suppose for a long time, people would have come down the flyover. People living in the local area would have reported what's going to be done with that area. It's an eyesore, it pulls your mood down, it doesn't look great.
I know people coming in the area must get this impression, oh, we're going into the ghettos. But we're far from being a ghetto. We just need this to take off and build to be completed.
It's going to become a village that will hold the majority, if not all, of what local residents have requested. It's all person-led. It's through great consultation with local people, local residents.
The opportunity of the new building will give us the opportunity for Dove House to reinvent itself as the heart of the community again.
We kind of have outgrown this building in some ways. The new build will allow us to broaden our horizons, allow us to run programmes that this building will not allow us to run.
It'll just feel like a better facility. And that's not to say that this facility has been bad. It's been very good, the Dove House as an organisation and the community in general, but it's probably outlived its usefulness at this stage. We all need a bit of renewal every now and then.
Meenan Square Developments are delivering this project, which will provide 8 new homes on the Meenan Square site. The development will also bring 2 brand new, state-of-the-art, purpose-made buildings to the site as well. The first building will include a brand new mid-sized supermarket, and above that will be 2 2,000 square foot sized office spaces, which will provide an injection of funds that will contribute to the ongoing sustainability of the site moving forward. The second building will be a mixed-use building with 2 retail outlets and a youth centre. It will be a central hub for young people, going through pathways of education and employment, much needed within the local area. The building will also include a multi-use hall, which will be used for a wide variety of events, programmes and indoor sports, keeping things in the local community. Dove House will also be moving into a brand new space on site, which will include purpose-built facilities for learning and training, but also provide a modern space for Dove House to continue their ongoing work and much more into the future.
Dove House has seen the best of times and it has seen the worst of times in terms of our own individual life stories, I suppose, the people that we've met, lost along the way, but also in terms of this community's development. But I have no doubt that the best times for Dove House and this community lie in the future.
And it is fitting that as Dove House will be leading in that Dove House were the organisation and the building that started it all.
We've been here for 40 years, yes, but I think there's another 40 years plus left in Dove House. We want to maintain that homely atmosphere that we have achieved over the years. There is a lot more work for us to do, but we are building on the legacy of the last 40 years and what has been achieved.